Hey guys, what's up? What I want to talk about today is two articles that came out within the last 2 days about the corporate debt market. One from Bloomberg, one from Wall Street Journal, and they basically arrive at the exact opposite conclusion. So, let's see what we got. So, Wall Street Journal, corporate defaults slow lifting debt market. Fewer major U.S. companies are defaulting on their debt than investors feared just months ago, a boost to corporate bond prices, and an encouraging sign for the U.S. economy. Cool. Bloomberg article. Bond defaults deliver 99% losses in new era of U.S. bankruptcies. Bankruptcy filings are surging due to the economic fallout of pandemic, and many lenders are coming to the realization that their claims are almost completely worthless. So, what's going on here? Is the Wall Street Journal author an idiot? Is the Bloomberg article author an idiot? Am I an idiot? Very possible. These two authors are saying completely conflicting things very convincingly. Now, both these articles, they make sense to me. What they're talking about in isolation makes sense. They're also talking about slightly different things, but no matter how you look at it, the conclusion they're arriving at is like the exact opposite. We're seeing this everywhere. This type of disparity between, if you look at one set of numbers slightly differently than someone else, you arrive at a completely different economic conclusion. If you look at inflation, unemployment, GDP growth, housing prices, depending on how you look at them, these things are either doing great or doing terrible. For the housing prices thing in particular, I posted a video a week ago about that. Record high housing prices in a lot of areas, while eviction moratorium, foreclosure moratorium, really high unemployment. Basically, people can't afford housing, and yet record high housing prices. So, which is it? Both? Okay. I'm wondering why experts are so confident. Not confident in their projection of what's going to happen next, but confident in terms of, I understand what's going on. No one understands what's going on. To say you understand what's going on implies that you're inferring something from previous knowledge. You're extrapolating something. Maybe not the exact same thing before, but you're saying, based on my experience, here is why I think this is happening. Here's what I think is going on. It essentially has to be, okay, I've seen something like this before, therefore you should listen to me. However, there's no precedent for the environment we are currently in. So go ahead, tell me the last time we had the country that was a reserve currency, the world's reserve currency, had a crisis level unemployment while a pandemic was happening, record high asset valuations, mass moratoriums on foreclosures and evictions due to people who are not able to afford these said assets, record-breaking quantitative easing, record low interest rates, all while the population and society is hyper-polarized, and sprinkle a little social media accelerant on top of all of it. Go ahead. Tell me the last time you saw this happen. I'll wait. So, the people who are so confident, they'll say, oh, well, okay, it's maybe we didn't have the exact scenario before, but you can kind of infer and look at the similarities and kind of fill in the gaps. Let's talk about complexity. So complexity is where you have a situation where if something's slightly different, that leads to way different outcomes. If you want to get fancy, nonlinearity, I think would be a good term. And I just see these experts, whether it's economic, political, whatever, they're just getting on TV, they're putting on their suits, and they're saying, "Oh, I know what's going on. Trust me." And okay, to be fair, that's their business model, so fair enough. But I just don't see how they could possibly know what they're talking about. I know they're well-meaning, I know they have a lot of knowledge, but what knowledge are they drawing on? Like, what precedent are they drawing on? This is kind of why I find this current time so interesting. I think there's a lot of opportunity. When things are changing this fast and no one knows what they're talking about, that's when rapid change happens. And if you're like kind of on the right one of those waves, like if you're one of the people who says, all right, I actually want to, in a self-directed way, learn what's going on. There could be no textbook to learn from because no one knows what's going on. Man, that's when you can really make it big. I just find that so interesting. I mean, whether you love or hate Jeff Bezos, like his philosophy when he left his job at a fund to do Amazon, he said, okay, what's changing really fast? The internet. You never see a growth rate this high. What can I do to get on that? I'll sell books online. Now I think he's the richest man in the world. It's now it's completely different. And again, you might have some personal opinions about Jeff Bezos, but man, that's kind of what I see right now. When the rate of change and the rate of model breakdown of just trying to explain what's going on, like economically, monetarily, even politically, no one knows. And some people, that really bothers them. To me, man, I think it's really interesting. Anyway, former prop trader, thanks for stopping by.